how in the world do you reduce your labor cost? It's just the more money you make, and as your business grows, your labor line continues to grow. So let's talk about this. Hi, I'm Andrea. I am the creator of the Happy People Culture program, which is a workbook and a manual that walks you through all the people practices that you need to create in your business so you can have great employee morale, high net profits, and lower your training and your turnover costs. So how do you lower your labor costs? As your business is soaring, of course, it continues to go up. So a lot of businesses look at a percent of revenue, which is fine. And it's a very valid measure to look at. However, I like to look at that as a trending to make sure I'm not trending one way or another, to make sure it's staying steady. But if I want to lower my labor expenses, there are 4 things that I need to consider. 1, schedule versus actual hours. When you have hourly employees, you have got to count the minutes. How are you scheduling? Are you having people come in and then they're just sitting around waiting until their shift starts? Or are they coming in and being productive? Are they coming in and there's a 10-minute gap before their shift actually starts? Or are they coming in right when they have to clock in? Minutes matter because everything adds up, particularly on the back end. I found that we had our staff staying 35 minutes after their shift. A lot had to do with some of the cleaning duties we had them do. But then I watched the cameras and they're just sitting around talking. Make sure that you hone that in and tighten that up. What we did, we got a janitorial staff, they stopped the cleaning duties, and we were very clear that they had to clock out within 15 minutes after their last class was done. So count your minutes. Our people come in 5 minutes before their shift starts. They have a wiggle room, which means even if they come in 1 minute before their shift starts and clocks in, it's okay. They're not considered late. It's a 5-minute buffer. So count your minutes. Do not bring people in for no reason and having them sitting around because it costs you money. The second thing is watch your overtime. And this is really specific because this can run into managers as well, depending on with the new federal guidelines. So watch your overtime. What's happening with your people? Overtime for me is acceptable when it's needed because there are people that jump in and they will take on added shifts and they will do more work. If I need them, I will absolutely pay them overtime. But then there's other people that will take a little bit longer in clocking out at the end of the night or doing other things that they could have done during the day that is adding on to that time. So if you see a pattern with overtime, you need to nip that in the bud. So watch your overtime. Training costs. So I will tell you, you need to know how long it takes to train whatever it is, whatever role you have that you're hiring for, how long does it take to train them? Be very specific. Because if it takes 2 weeks and you're seeing that training is taking 3.5 weeks, something is happening, something is wrong, and they are not getting trained properly. I will tell you, you got to be sure you know how long it's supposed to be trained, and then make sure that your managers are sticking within that time frame, because it's very easy to go, well, let's do one more time. Let's give you another co-working shift before you're fully trained. No. You know how long it takes them to be trained. If they're not getting it, then you might need to cut ties with that person, but don't continue the training costs. Also, we do paid training at the same rate as a regular rate. We do not do a lower rate for training. It is just important to us, and we value our people, and I think it sends a bad message if you do that. The last thing is tracking your turnover. We track our 90-day. For us, the 90-day is crucial. If your 90-day turnover is over 25%, there's a problem. You got a ton of people that are leaving you. You've already put training dollars into them, and they've walked out the door. That is such a horrible waste of money, and it happens. I will tell you, that I know people that have found easily on their P&L $50,000 of training costs of people that have walked out the door within the first 90 days. It's not completely avoidable, but you can get better at lowering that percent. So what do I mean by the 90-day turnover? It's the amount of people that left versus those that left within the first 90 days. It's just doing that math. So if 4 people left, but 1 person was in the first 90 days, that's a 25% 90-day turnover. If 4 people left and nobody was within the first 90 days, then it's 0. So I can't expect that people will stay with me forever, but I definitely need them to get to the first 90 days. Ideally, I want a year out of them, but if I can get 9 months, I'll still be happy. So know what your parameters are, how much training goes into them, and how long you want them to be. But track a turnover, because then you can get more specific, and I can promise you can find costs that can be cut if you get more specific with your training dollars and you're in tweaking and honing in on your 90-day turnover. So those are 4 things: scheduling, count your minutes, watch your overtime, your training costs, and your 90-day turnover, or turnover in general. So those are your 4 things that I would say will help you reduce your labor expense and help you drive more profit to your bottom line. So I hope that helps. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Go to my Facebook group and Instagram and follow me, and let's continue talking about the struggles that we have with managing people every day in our business. And I'll see you next time.